Chapter 15 DIY Disaster. Excuse me? I had an uncertain little laugh as Topher came to the beach, a towel over his arm. His pale form was clad in overly large swim trunks reaching past his knees, outfit complete with a pair of sandals. You do construction work, you run a business, and are starting another business, pointed out Topher. Rumor has it you're going to solve the latest murder. You are some sort of super person. Hardly, I smiled at his flattery. I'm just trying to do what I can. Well, the people at this campground think the world of you. He glanced at the dock. I guess the dock is out of commission for a little while. Maybe you should put up a sign. I guess I should. I hadn't really thought about it since most of my campers don't use it. I shrugged. Where are your friends? Some of them are sleeping in from last night, explained Topher. We had a little too much fun at the local pub. One of the guys is taking a local girl out for the day, and another had to do some work for his boss, but he'll be back tonight. I thought I would just chill at the beach for a while. The water is nice, especially since the day has gotten so hot, I agreed. I was glad the group of tenters hadn't been any trouble with my regular campers. So far I had heard no complaints from either side. Enjoy! Hey, what are you doing today? Asked Topher. I was hoping to either stain the new boardwalk by the office or just put a coat of roofing on my camper. I shuddered a little. What's the matter? Don't like heights? Grinned Topher in amusement at my lack of enthusiasm. Not particularly, I admitted. Then let me, volunteered Topher. I'm a champ at heights. I'll help you out. I can't ask you to help, I protested. You're a guest. I won't take no for an answer, Topher insisted. I'm helping. Just lead the way. I'm sorry, but I can't allow you on a camper, I told him. The liability alone. You can stop talking now. Topher put his fingers in his ears. I can't hear words like liability and negligence or tort. I have to hear them at work, so I don't listen to them while on vacation. Now, I'm going to help you put on the roofing stuff, so lead the way. Despite myself, I smiled and gave in. Okay. Yes, my first construction job, exclaimed Topher in delight, unplugging his ears. Oh dear, I murmured, wondering what I had gotten myself into. Topher kept up a chatter of what he and his friends had been up to while we walked back to my camper with the doggies. Pulling out the roofing materials I had purchased, we read through the fine print. Looks pretty straightforward, commented Topher. I bet this can get done in an afternoon. Soon enough, a ladder was propped up to the camper, and Topher expertly climbed it. I took my time, my heart in my throat. Topher took pity on me. You could just hand stuff up from down. It's not a big deal. This is my camper, and I'm responsible for it, I murmured. Plus, I have an idea where the worst leaks are. I stubbornly helped with the patching and recoating, staying mainly towards the middle of the camper until Topher finally told me I was more in the way than helping. He could finish on his own, I would be safely on the ground. Grateful, I made my way to the ladder. The ground seemed extremely far away. I clutched at the top of the ladder, debating how I was going to get down. Don't look at the ground, advised an amused Topher. Easy for you to say, I muttered. The distance I needed to cross from the camper to roof to the ladder suddenly looked like a large chasm which couldn't be crossed. Ivy. Topher set down his tools, coming to crouch down right beside me, oblivious as to how close he was to the edge. You can do this, one step at a time. I took a deep breath, tamping down my fears. Okay. With jerky movements and Topher's help, I managed to get back onto the ladder. Topher coached me as I slowly made my way back down towards solid ground. That's it, just a few more steps. I looked up at Topher, pleased I had survived my little adventure. Only a few more rungs to go. I'm good. You can finish, and I'll get us some... I was about to tell him I would fetch us a snack, when I heard a loud crack and my foot went through the ladder rung. I scrambled to find my balance, only to fall sideways, taking the now broken ladder with me. Ivy! Gasped Topher, watching me fall. Oomph! I hit the ground hard. Pain shooting up my ankles, I sprawled onto my back in the grass, looking up at the blue sky and trees. The next thing I knew, Topher was right there, holding up a couple of fingers. How many fingers? What is your name? Do you remember what day it is? He asked anxiously. How did you get down from the camper without a ladder? I questioned in alarm, pushing his hand out of my face. I jumped, Topher shrugged, starting to calm down a little. Are you okay? My ankle hurts, I admitted. Otherwise, I seem to be fine. Topher quickly checked my ankle. He gave a whistle. Your foot is swollen pretty bad. You should probably get it checked. It's fine. I sat up, ignoring the stabbing pain from my ankle as I moved it. I'll put some ice on it. Could be broken, Ivy, he warned. It's just a sprain, I insisted. I hoped it was just a sprain. I couldn't afford a broken ankle. I'll stay off it, and in a few days it'll be good as new. Okay. A doubtful Topher helped me stand. He assisted me to sit in one of the Muskoka chairs. Topher got me some ice out of the camper, a cold drink, and watered the Bosties as well. Setting the ladder upright, he avoided the broken rung and climbed back up to the roof of the camper to finish the job we had started. My phone chirped as I gratefully took a sip of my drink. Sighing, I saw it was from B. Hi, B. We are ready, declared an excited B. All you need to do is get in front of the bakery somewhere out of sight, but you need to have a good view. In all of the excitement of getting some projects done, I had forgotten all about the stakeout we had been planning. Oh no, what about the dogs? Agatha is coming right now to take care of Cupcake and Cookie, explained B. She also has your walkie-talkie. Sure enough, I could see Agatha marching forward along the path, her tiny form determined in her mission. Okay, I murmured, but B had already hung up. I quickly drank a few swallows of my drink, then carefully got up. Hopping to the camper, I retrieved my purse and keys. Hey, where are you going? Called out Topher. I have an emergency, I answered with a wave. Thanks for all your help on the roof. Agatha handed me the walkie-talkie. Don't change the channel. This is how you turn it on, and here is the volume. Now, go catch the killer. I grinned at her enthusiasm and hopped into the car. It took a little over 5 minutes before I was parked across from the Tasty Treats bakery. I slumped in my seats, watching the bakery and waiting for something to happen. Are you in place? Came B's voice over the static of the walkie-talkie. Which one of us are you talking to? Came Conrad's voice back just as I was about to answer. You need to be specific. I suppose I was talking to each of you, grumbled B. I'm in place, Herb told us. I'm in the park, watching the side alley. I'm at the back door of the dental office, informed Conrad. I can see out the south side of the back alley if someone approaches. Thelma, barked B. Are you in position yet? There was a moment before Thelma replied. I'm here, B. I'm at the back window of the Luscious Lock Salon. I can see the other side of the alley. Ivy? Asked B. I'm across the street from the front of the building, I spoke into the walkie-talkie. Great. Then we're all in our places, came B's satisfied response. Where are you? Grumbled Conrad. I am in the storyteller's loft. The used bookstore beside the Tasty Treats bakery, answered B. If you recall, there's an adjoining door between the two businesses. It helps them capitalize on each other's customers. Now we have all the entrances watched. We'll be sure to see if anyone tries to get into the bakery. I slumped further in my car, watching out the window, trying to make it look like my car was unoccupied. Hours later, I had a crimp in my back, and my ankle was throbbing. Businesses were closing for the night, and it was starting to rain. I was terribly hungry. B? I questioned softly. Maybe we should call it a day. No, came the stubborn reply. We wait. The suspect won't want to be seen, and will be more apt to wait until night to try to break in. I yawned. I should have been baking today for Saturday's farmer's market. I checked my watch. It confirmed it was past supper time. The rain beat down harder, and people were starting to leave the downtown area unless it was near the restaurants or bars. The passenger door ripped open, and someone sat down next to me. Are you crazy? I groaned at the sight of a wet Armand shutting the passenger door. Then I grinned. He did not look comfortable in my tiny, compact little vehicle with his tall body. It was kind of funny, in my opinion, so I chirped, How are you doing today? Being driven out of my mind, he glared at me, by a petite woman who can't stop interfering in Philippe's business. I smiled happily. Did you bring anything to eat? I'm starving. Why would I bring something to eat? Growled Armand. More importantly, why are you parked for the entire day outside of my crime scene? This is not your crime scene, I pointed out with a smug voice. You are not the detective on the case. No, he pulled out a pad and pen. I'm the officer who is writing tickets right now, and I failed to see you feed the meter once. I frowned, trying to look out the window, but Armand was in the way. There isn't a meter here, is there? Put in by the town just this week, Armand muttered darkly. It means I get to write you a ticket. I slumped. Please don't. Tell me why you were here, he negotiated, pen hovering over the ticket pad. This isn't very nice, I muttered. No one said I was nice. A hard edge was in Armand's voice as he spoke. "What are you doing, spying on the Tasty Treats bakery, Ivy?" "Trying to figure out who killed Bart Baker," I admitted. "We have a theory the killer will return to the crime scene." "Someone has been watching too much crime television," commented an unamused Armand. "Someone revisiting the crime scene is not likely to happen." My eyes skittered away from his, looking at the walkie-talkie on the dash. "You and your seniors are on a stakeout," he surmised. "What aren't you telling me?" "A lot," I muttered. The car seemed too small suddenly. Armand was taking up too much space. "Ivy," he practically growled. "Fine," I huffed. V came up with an idea. We let it slip the police may have missed a clue at the bakery, then see who shows up to try to figure out what our fake clue is. Whoever does is the killer. Armand ran a hand over his jaw. His serious eyes met mine. "What did you expect to do if one of your suspects show up? Confront the killer? This is dangerous." "No," I protested. "We aren't stupid. If someone does come and tries to break into the bakery, we're going to call the police. Then the police would question the person and maybe it would set Jackson free." "Stickers and a possible break-in at the bakery aren't going to set a murder suspect free," sighed Armand. "It isn't enough." "Then the stickers are important?" I questioned uncertainly. "Yes." Armand put his ticket pad and pen away. He looked out at the rain, which was falling pretty hard now, contemplating what to do. His features hard and foreboding in the waning light. I bit my lip, hoping he might, just might, start talking about the case. The streetlights turned on, bathing the area in some light even as the rain combated it. A movement appeared out of the corner of my eye, and I turned my head to see the Tasty Treats bakery just in time to see someone peering into the window, hands cupped around their face as they stood under the awning. They were dressed in dark clothes, with a hoodie up, hiding the majority of their head. "It could be him!" I breathed in excitement. Forgetting I was supposed to wait to see if the person broke in, or call the other members of my senior stakeout team, or to even call the cops, I opened the door of my car, jumping to my feet, and exclaimed, "Hey, you!" The person turned, spotted me, and ran. I tried to run after the fleeing figure, but I felt a terrible pain and my foot gave out. I landed in the street with a thud, rain pouring on me. I could hear Armand run past me, then stop, letting out a string of expletives and other not-so-nice words. He came back, crouching beside me as I sat up, holding on to my injured leg. "You need to chase him." I pointed to where the shadowy figure had disappeared into the night. "He's getting away." Instead, Armand pulled out a pocket flashlight, flicking it on. He put it in his mouth as he used both his hands to pull off my sneaker and gently prod my ankle. I let out a hiss of pain, followed shortly by a whimper. Taking the flashlight and putting it back in his pocket, he grimaced. "Your ankle is likely broken." "No," I shook my head. "I can't afford a broken ankle. It's probably just a sprain. I'll ice it and it will be fine." "It is purple and twice the normal size." Armand stood up. He left me to go rummaging around in my car, then locking the doors before he returned. "What are you doing?" I asked as he handed my purse to me. "I'm driving you to the nearest after-hours clinic." Armand crouched down, handing me my sneaker as well. "There's no way I'm going to be able to drive this tiny contraption of yours. My foot will never lift high enough to hit the clutch. We will go in my vehicle." "There is no clutch," I mentioned as he slipped an arm under my knees, the other around my back. I quickly put my arm around his broad shoulders to help balance myself. "I can stand and hop." "How is there no clutch?" grunted Armand as he stood, carrying me. "It has a manual stick shift." "The car is a semi-automatic, so a clutch isn't needed," I explained. "You can put me down." "You want to hop all the way to the police station where my car is?" he questioned wryly. I didn't. However, I also didn't want to have him carrying me downtown in the rain, no matter how much my ankle was throbbing. It was disconcerting, to say the least. "I can drive myself." "It's your right ankle," he replied. "You shouldn't be driving." "We are both going to be soaked by the time we get to your car," I grumbled. "I don't need to go to the clinic." "You need an X-ray to determine if the ankle is broken," he insisted. "Why are you being so stubborn about this?" "I let my health insurance lapse," I admitted quietly. A muscle ticked in Armand's jaw, a sign he didn't like what he was hearing. Before I could help myself, I found I was trying to explain my decision. "I'm usually healthy, and hardly ever use it. It was going to only be for a little while, just a stopgap measure so I could use the money around the campground for important things," I told him. "I didn't think I would need it so soon." Important things. Armand shook his head. What is more important than your health? Stopping roofs from leaking, I pointed out, or anyone from being electrocuted, or the water and electricity from being cut off for non-payment. Those are pretty important. I'm sure the town would like the back taxes so the campground doesn't get foreclosed on. Armand's face softened a little as he listened. I didn't realize it was that bad. If you recall, you did call the place a dump when you first saw it, I said dryly. Grandma left me with a lot of bills, and I'm trying to get it functioning as a business. I can't afford an x-ray or a doctor's visit. You're still going to the clinic. Armand walked to a nice black SUV in the parking lot of the police department. You need the x-ray. We don't know it's broken, I pleaded as he set me down, fishing in his pocket for his keys and unlocking the car. It could just be a sprain. Sprains heal fine on their own with a little downtime. Broken bones don't heal by themselves. Sometimes they need a little medical help, warned Armand, opening the passenger door for me. The last thing you need is long-lasting effects because you refuse to get your foot treated. I hesitated. I knew he was right. This would just be one more bill to add to the pile. With Armand's help, I climbed into the vehicle and endured the ride to the clinic in silence. My stomach rumbled. Armand helped me out of the SUV. I hopped for a couple of feet before he just picked me up again, striding through the automatic doors. At the instructions of a nurse practitioner, I was set on a bed. Armand stood back, folding his arms and watching the proceedings. I completed paperwork admitting I had no insurance and no idea of how I was going to pay for any of the services they rendered. Thankfully, I was assured I could put the whole thing on payments. At the word payments, I tried not to wince. Soon enough, I had my ankle poked thoroughly, had a couple of x-rays, and was told I had a fracture. Armand gave me a look that basically proved his superiority. I gave him a dark look in return, while being fitted for an obscenely expensive air cast. The boot, which looked like they would do any skier proud, now graced my foot, accompanied by a pair of children's crutches since they didn't make adult crutches in my size. The crutches were lime green in color. Thanking the clerk at the desk, I ran my credit card through the machine for the first payment. Fingers crossing in silent hope, miracle of miracles, the credit card company didn't realize I had overextended my limit and pay the payment. The only other option would be to take it from my Ethel Merle fund, which was legally supposed to be used exclusively for the repairs of the campground. My inheritance was running out fast. I'm sorry, the card is declined, the woman stated with pity in her eyes. Can we try it again? I asked softly. Here, Armand stepped forward. I've got this. No, I stated firmly. You're not paying for this. I made you come to the clinic. Armand wiped his card through the machine before I could protest further. You will pay me back at some point. I could add it to the groceries I still owed him for, I thought silently to myself. My card had declined at the food mart last month when I was purchasing items for my grandmother's memorial. Armand had been in line behind me and had paid for my purchases. Annoyed, I put my card away, taking the receipt. Since the town pharmacy was also closed, they had given me a small amount of pain medication and a prescription for the next day. Have a nice night, the clerk at the desk said as we made our way back outside. Armand's SUV was still in the way of the doors. He opened the passenger door for me. Tired, cold from the air conditioning on my wet clothes, and super hungry, I got in the vehicle. Armand rummaged around the back of the vehicle a moment before getting into the driver's seat. Here. He held out another police hoodie to me, and I gratefully took it, wrapping it around me before putting on my seatbelt. Armand started the vehicle, and we drove for a while before I realized he was pulling up to a local restaurant, the Groovy Grill. It was nearly empty. They close in about 20 minutes, noted Armand. What do you want? I'll get it to go. I don't know what they have. I have never been here, I admitted. The restaurant is basically a burgers and fries sort of place, clarified Armand. Then burger and fries, I chose. I wondered why he was paying out for dinner, then decided I didn't care. I was too hungry to argue with him and would just add it to the grand total I already owed him. In the meanwhile, you can read this. Armand reached between the driver's seat and the console, extracting a file. On one condition.